In today's video, we are going to talk about Pop OS 21.10 has landed. Full review. Myself Mohammad Zubair, and this channel is all about showing you how to become a highly paid IT pro really fast. So without any further ado, let's get started. Well, Pop OS 21.10 just got released on 14th of December 2021. And just like its earlier version, which was 20.04, now again we have two versions of 21.10 release. First one is the simple one and the second one contains the NVIDIA version. So if you download this one, you should have NVIDIA graphic card or GPU into your system. First of all, I'll start with the installation process. Well, the installation process for 21.10 is very simple. You just have to follow the instruction on the screen and everything else will be done on its own. Yes, there are some things that should have been added or could have been added, but still it is one of the easiest installer in all of the Linux distros out there. And I'm sure that you will not feel any difficulties while installing your Pop OS into your hardware. Now let's talk about its features and what do we have in this one. Well, first of all, if we talk about the interface, we have tiling button in here. If you just click on it, here you have some of the options. For example, you have shortcuts that you can set. Then you have some of the toggle options, and at the top we have tile windows. If you enable this option, it will force your applications to use the available space on the screen efficiently. For example, if I open my file manager in here, and now if I open any other application along with it, let's open terminal. As you can see, it is adjusting the size on the screen on its own. We do not have to worry about it. So that's a really good inclusion in terms of the usability of the system and the space. And now here we have Workspaces button available. If you just click on it, it will open all the workspaces that are available or that you have opened. By default, we have two. You can change the number of workspaces by going to the settings, or you can keep on adding more and more. I'll show you how you can do that. Just open any of the application and click on Workspaces. From here, you can drag this application into any of the workspace. Upon doing so, it will open another workspace. And if you add any application in the third one, a fourth workspace will get added on its own. I'll just get out of this. The biggest update that has been done in Pop OS 21.10 is Applications menu or Application Launcher. There are three ways that you can use to launch your applications. First one is by clicking on this Applications button, or you can click on this Show Application button, or you can use a shortcut which is Super key plus A. It will also open your application. Previously, when we used to navigate to our application, it used to open a full screen application wall on our screen. But in Pop OS 21.10, as you can see, the application library opens in a small and searchable window over your current workspace. And good thing is, if you have multiple monitors or multiple displays attached with your system, it will open the application on which you have your mouse focused. For example, here I am using my mouse at the moment, so it will open application in this display. If I have some second or third monitor and I'm using my cursor over there, it will open the application over that screen. Then we have alphabetical listing that makes it easier to scan and find the applications for us. As you can see, everything is sorted in alphabetical manner. Other than that, you can also search for your particular application. If I write here, Libre, here you can see it is giving me the related applications. Not only that, we also have folders of applications here. For example, here we have a folder which is named as Office. If you click on it, it will contain all the applications related to Office, as you can see in here. Then we have some applications related to systems, then you have your utilities. And in case if you download some of the applications, or if you feel that you should have some of the applications in a separate folder, for that you can create a new folder and you can name it anything. I will name it as Skills Build and I will click on Create. And now you can drag and drop any of the applications in newly created folder. Let's add fonts into this one. Then I will add my extensions here as well. You can do that with any application. And now if I go to my skills build, here you can see I have two of the application that I had just added. I can delete this folder or I can rename it as well. Other than that, if you are one of those who like to use keyboard, you can use your page up and page down keys to move towards these categories or these folders. So I will just get out of my applications. I will just click on my desktop. Here you can see it has just vanished. And now if I press my super key, it will open a search area. From here, you can look for any application or any file that exists on your system. If I write here, Firefox, here you can see I have Mozilla Firefox as a web browser available in here. So it means we do not have to open our application and then look for particular application. We can do that straight away by just pressing the super key and by just searching a particular file or application into our Pop OS 21.10. I'll just get out of this and let's talk about the gaming support. Well, as I have shown you earlier that now we have the NVIDIA support in this version as well, Pop OS provides you with one of the best setup for gaming on Linux. The installer files are already GPU oriented, so right after the installation, your system will be ready to perform at max thrust. And the Pop Shop has tons of fantastic games available, and you also have the option of Steam that you can install in it, and it will have all the applications that are supported for Linux at your Pop OS. So it means that we have a great gaming support from Pop OS. And now if I talk about some of the things that are very good in this one of them is settings. I will go to my settings. We have some of the options that we can perform in terms of desktop customization. So I will just open it. So here you can see at the moment if I press my super key, it opens launcher that allows us to search for anything. But in case if you want to change it, you can go with the workspaces. Then you have the option to go with applications. If I go with the applications and now if I press my super key, it will open applications. So you can keep it as anything as per your liking. Then you have your hot corners, you have your top bar, you can disable this one, then you have your show application button which is right at the dock, and then you have many other options. In terms of background, you have some of the wallpapers that you can use for your Pop OS. And as we have the Cosmic desktop environment, obviously it is related to GNOME, so we have Cosmic background as well. And then here we have some of the options related to appearance, means you have two themes, dark one or the light one. Then you have your dock options. From dock, you can perform a lot of things for your dock. For example, at the moment it is enabled. If I just disable this one, there will be no dock onto my Pop OS. And by default, our dock is extended on the whole screen. To reduce it and to make it only in the center, I will disable this option. And other than that, you have some other options that you can go through. So that was all about the settings and some major things that we have in this one. Now, Pop OS is using their own repository. It means earlier Pop OS was dependent on Ubuntu as it is based on Ubuntu, but now they also have their own support for packages, software, libraries and many things. So it means you will download a lot of things from their own repository. And now we have Flatpak support in Pop OS. Here you can see we have Flatpak section, so it means everything that you will download will be from Flatpak repository. Then you have your settings, you can update your system and you can look for them, and then you have your extra sources. To ensure that Pop OS continues to keep up to date and it has all the new software versions, now Pop OS has custom software repositories from their own infrastructure, and that will help the user to maintain a stable experience and to have latest softwares and packages. The good news is that Pop OS 21.10 is now available on the Raspberry Pi as well, which is a mini computer for STEM or STEM learning and experimentation, and Pop OS has built Pop Pi for the Raspberry Pi 4 so that you can gain experience building for the ARM platforms. Now, I'll talk about one more thing, and that is GNOME. I will open my settings and I will go to my About section. Here if you see that in terms of GNOME, we are using 40.4.0, or some people will get 40.50. It means we are one major version behind in regard of desktop environment. but I don't think so that this is a major issue. Yes, in GNOME version 41.0 we get some more options, like we have power profiling and we have multitasking tabs or categories in the settings section, but we do not get those two features or those two repositories in GNOME 40.40 version. Now let's talk about the system performance. So for that, I will just search for monitor. Here it is, I will just open it. So here you can see my system is performing really great and it is not having any burden at the moment. But there is one drawback you can say, and that is you should use your Pop! OS 21.10 on the latest system or on the system which are relatively new. If you have your older machine, Pop! OS 21.0 might not be as much resourceful or might not be as good in terms of performance as it is on newer and latest system. So that's a limitation you can say. I'll just close this one, and now I will open my terminal and I'll show you that how much resources it is using at the moment and how much RAM it is using. So for that I'll use a utility called as top. So here you can see it is using almost 1200 megabytes of my RAM at the moment, and I am only using terminal at this moment. So it means in terms of resource usage, it is on a higher side as compared to other Linux distributions which offer same type of desktop environment and almost same types of functionalities. Other than that, you have your processes. As you can see, a lot of them are running at the moment. Now I'll talk about some of the system information, and for that I'll use a utility called as NeoFetch. So I will just hit enter now. So in terms of operating system, it is obviously Pop! OS 21.10. For kernel, it is using 5.15.15. It is expected that we will get a newer version with the update. Then we have 1777 packages available. Then in terms of shell, we are having bash version 5.1.8. And again we have GNOME which is 40.5. Then you have your theme and many other information related to your Pop! OS. At the end, if I talk about the system requirement, well, you should have at least 2 GB of RAM and 16 GB of internal storage and a 64-bit compatible processor, and you should have access to internet, but this is optional. But for the optimal performance, you should have 4 GB of RAM. It will make sure that you are having the optimal experience and you have smoother performance from your Pop! OS. And that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope now that you have better understanding that what do we get in the latest version of Pop! OS. If that is the case, please leave a like, subscribe and press the bell icon. We'll get back to you in the next video. Till then, take care.